Hello, everyone. Today we're going to be going over where Suzanne Morphew could possibly be. Uh, we've had one community search for her, and it was organized by the Mormon family, Andy Mormon. He did a search, and it was before the preliminary trial and the arrest affidavit were out, so they weren't able to narrow down where she is, where she could be. It was just like a stab in the dark. Now that the arrest affidavit is out, we've had a preliminary trial. We can kind of narrow down somewhat of what the timeline looks like and where she could possibly be. So let's get into that. So 9/9/2020 is the day before Mother's Day, and the day that investigators think that she passed away or was killed by her husband Barry. So we start out with at 2:03 p.m. was her last proof of life. She texts her. She's having an affair with Jeff Liebler, and she sends him a text message. At 2:44 p.m., Barry comes home, and Suzanne's communication and proof of life stop. This is when the investigators think that he killed her. Claims his phone was going around the house at a fast pace, and he uses the excuse that he's shooting chipmunks. It's a common theme with Barry. He's a big hunter, so he brings in all these kinds of animals to explain anything that's kind of suspicious that happened. And he'll just bring in animal after animal after animal to explain everything. They live in the outdoors, so I mean out in the very rural area, so it is possible, but I mean this amount of animals it's kind of funny. It's almost laughable, the excuses that he presents. So from 2:44 to 4:45 we have this blank spot here where he probably kills her, and he claims that he goes to a spa shop, but the agents did interview them, and they said that he was there for a couple hours and he didn't buy anything. The investigators think that this didn't happen, and the employees there were mistaken, or employee. So the next event is at 4:45. His door opens and closes. This is a time where his phone goes into airplane mode and his truck reboots. So you have two things. I mean, it looks like Barry's probably tinkering around with his computer system. So I mean, that's probably, you think that's the time that he's thinking about hiding her body. So from 5:30 to 9:30. This is the area that the investigators seem to think that that he hit her, because they were asked at the preliminary trial, "Is this enough time to hide a body?" And they said yes. So from 9:25 to 10:17, Barry's phone is taken off of airplane mode, and his phone is spotted near a river towards the back of his house, I believe. I was looking for a turkey that Mallory had shot some time ago. So he uses another animal here to explain his wife's disappearance and the actions that he did afterwards. The river, maybe he was washing something off. I mean, it's kind of funny to what he's probably cleaning up evidence at that river. So we have a dead period from 12:50 to 2:53 a.m. And he possibly could have been somewhere, hiding her body. But yeah, since this time period is bigger than this one, you're gonna have to search this much anyway. So I mean, in this area would be smaller. So I mean, he's probably sleeping at this time, I would imagine. That's not that much sleep. I mean, I imagine he tried to lay down and was stressed out, and you got to be back up really early in the morning, and not 2 hours of sleep is not that much. 2.5 hours. So Barry's truck opens and closes. Phone moves to where the bike was found. So you have, like, his house is it says Salida R32 School District, the bottom one, not the one where the red balloon is. So he goes up this road and goes towards Interstate 50, and this is a normal thing for him to do. Is there's only one way out of his house, is to go, to get to Interstate 50, he's got to go through this area here, and that's not really that out of the ordinary. But what is out of the ordinary is that he walked there, because his truck did not move, but his phone did. This is one of the most damning pieces of evidence in the case, is that his phone moved where the bike was found. The bike was found, just off of this road. It looked like it had been thrown down into like there's a waterway here, and it looks like it was thrown there. The investigators said it looked like it had been thrown. So, the Judge Murphy was the judge at the time. He said, it's one of the reasons why he said there was enough evidence for this to go to trial. It's because of this. He had no reason to be there and walking there. And he said that he was awake at like 5 a.m. and he's moving around at 3:30. So before he said he was even awake, he was up moving around, and he was just very he was not supposed to be awake, first of all, and then he was walking to where the bike was found. I mean, that's a really damning piece of evidence. So we have about, it takes 15 minutes to go back and forth here, and he, 3:25 to 4:30 is not accounted for, so you got about a 30-minute dead period. Maybe he was looking for a place to hide the bike. He was also probably walking next to the bike, because the DNA was not found on the bike. So, it'd probably take longer walking the bike that way. So, 5:30, we have 5:37. Barry is headed towards Buena Vista, and he's driving through Johnson Village. So, it's not just this, so it's 32 minutes from here to here, so there's about a 30-minute dead period. And this is when Barry, I think this is on page 92, the arrest affidavit. He goes in the wrong direction, like Denver's this way. He says that he's got a job in Denver, and that's why he's up so early. He's got to fix a retaining wall that had been, meaning to be fixed for months and months and months. And, so he ends up going in the wrong direction. And they find the bike helmet. The bike, it shows in the diagram bike's here and then the helmet's here. So he had to go right past the helmet. He said he saw a herd of elk and he wanted to look at them and thought they might drop their antlers. But, at that time of year, it's not... Elk drop their antlers in the coldest months of the year because that's when their testosterone gets lower and that's when they fall off. So, it makes no sense to go in the opposite direction. And then they had the wildlife people come on the stand and talk about how, it's not... elk don't herd like that, and their antlers are not going to fall off. So this accounts... Anyway, that's a different story. If we go back to the timeline here, we have about a 30-minute gap, and most of that gap is explained him trying to hide the helmet. So and the agent said that there wasn't enough time in this spot to hide the body. So Barry goes, from 8:10 to... Wait, no, it's 5... So from 5:30 to 8:10, he's driving from Johnson Village to this bus stop in Denver where he disposes garbage. So we have, what is that? About 2 hours and 30 minutes, 40 minutes. That's about right. So this narrows down a lot of the possibilities that he went off to some... it's not likely. He'd have to, just throw her out of his car to hide her somewhere in here. So then he drives to Holiday Inn Express. It's a 15-minute drive from there. So you have... it's roughly about right. Brings stuff to hotel. He texts Suzanne. He goes to McDonald's. He drops some trash off, some more trash. It's funny. What the hell is he doing? The house is spotless. Alright? So why the hell is there so much frickin'... not spotless, but, no blood, no... It's not a major... there's not a lot of evidence in there. So what the hell is he doing with all this garbage? It looks... they seem to think that he shot her with a tranquilizer gun. And, and then probably killed her afterward. So, it's just weird that there's this much garbage. Is he mixing the garbage, his own garbage in with evidence that he wants to get rid of? He changed his clothes 3-4 times. It's really weird. So Barry goes to Men's Warehouse. He's found on video. Barry calls Suzanne, he calls Mallory, and then he throws away trash at the Holiday Inn. And from here to here, he's just in his motel room. He worked for 15 minutes. He said he worked all day. The thing... what I think he's doing from here to here is, he's sleeping. Because he did not get much sleep that night before. So if we go over and try to text analysis. So we have we have about a 3 hour and 52 minute window. It's 52 minutes, hour and 56 minutes round trip. So, they don't think that he used Bobcat because it's got GPS on it. So they think that it's not involved. So, I mean, 30 minutes to an hour is not a lot of time to dig a body. I mean, dig a hole for a body. I mean, he did text this guy named Joe Bacco, so he was obviously looking for a place to, he's thinking about digging somewhere to dispose of Suzanne. He told Morgan Gentile that he buried her someplace that nobody would find her, so he obviously was thinking about burying her. I went through and did like a visual representation of, what this would look like. You have, some of the circle is too big, some's not, but it has like an area where the body could be. So you had the Mormon search, which was mostly around this tiny area inside this red circle. You can see it can be a lot bigger. So, yeah, I mean, there needs to be a lot more searches done to find out where she could be. And what you could do is just make divide this into sections or slices like pizza, and have like a teams assigned to each slice and search all these areas. If he buried her, it's probably closer to this red circle here. You would think if he was smart that he would be outside of this red circle, because this is where search teams are going to be, and he's got to know that people are going to be looking for her. So I mean, I think it'd probably be between the red circle and the purple somewhere, and so anyway, the further he gets outside this red circle, it's more likely he did not bury her, because there's not a lot of time to do something. So investigators asked him about mine shafts, and he had like a weird reaction. You can read about it. I think it's on page 92 of the arrest affidavit. But it looks like he either buried her or put her in a mine shaft somewhere. It'd be helpful if us as a community could go through these areas and plot like where would be good locations to look. Like, first of all, go through and find all the mines in the area, and then go through and find areas where it's pretty easy to go off-road. I mean, it looks like there's a lot, but there's a lot of mountainous regions in here, and a lot of these places, I mean, he's not likely to go. So if we could eliminate some of them and look at some of the areas that are more interesting, I think that she's findable. I mean, I don't think it's easy to take quite a few people, and hopefully as a community we can get together and find out where she is, because she does deserve to have a proper burial, and Andy Mormon's family deserves closure. So, anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.